Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to talk about all of the books I want to read next year, just so that you have kind of a general idea of the kind of stuff I'm going to be reading on my channel next year and what reviews and videos and stuff you can look out for. I'm going to do a separate video for classics though, because I have like such a different list, and the classics list is like the same length as this list, and I don't want a video to go on for 200 years. So keep an eye out for that. It's probably coming out next Wednesday, I think. I don't know. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe. Let me know definitely like what books I should prioritise and stuff like that, because obviously I want to read what other people find interesting, but also what I find interesting, so it's a balance. But hopefully all of these are interesting. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, and let's just get started. I'm going to start by talking about the series that I want to read. So for series, I first of all want to continue with The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I was reading one a month of these, but I took December off, and I think I'm not going to take January off as well. But that means that if I continue at one a month, I will be finished in November like next year, which seems like a long time away, but it probably will be November next year before I even know it. But I'm quite excited to continue. I didn't enjoy the last book that much, but I'm still like excited to continue on, and hopefully I like the next one more. Next series I want to continue is all of the Shadowhunters books. I have read The Mortal Instruments and The Infernal Devices, so the next one is The Dark Artifices, and then The Last Hours, and then whatever is next. I know there's like spin-off series, there's like a Magnus Bane one, there's just lots of Shadowhunter books, so I want to continue them because I'm really enjoying them. They're really fun, and like I've talked about them too much recently, but yeah, I want to continue that. Also, I want to continue the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I just finished this a few days ago, and I haven't talked about it yet, but it will be in my December wrap-up. I thought this was going to be a 5-star prediction, but it actually turned out to not be. It was a 4-star, so I still enjoyed it, but it took me a while to like get into it. But I did still really enjoy it, and I do want to continue on the series, because now I'm like into it. Like, I think I'll really enjoy it. It was just like the start, I really struggled, which I wasn't expecting. New series that I think I want to start, The Dark Tower by Stephen King. This is book 1, The Gunslinger. My dad owns all of these, and it's one of the big fantasy series, and I mean, he owns them all, so it'll be easy for me to read them like quite fast, rather than Wheel of Time. I'm like buying them when I can or getting them from the library. Like, this will be quite easy, and some of them, like this one, book 1, is so short, so I think it'll be fun to start that. Another big one I want to start, potentially, is the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. I said I didn't want to start this until after I finished Wheel of Time, because I only wanted to have one big fantasy series one at a time. However, now I'm kind of changing my mind on that, and I'm thinking I can maybe read 2 at the same time. I don't know. I just don't want to be reading like only 3 books a month, and Wheel of Time and Stormlight are both like, every book is like 1,000 pages. So that's going to take me like 2 weeks to read each, and that stresses me out, because I'm like, I don't want to read like just 2 books a month. But we'll see. Hopefully I can like maybe start them and maybe just read slow. I don't know. I don't know. It's a work in progress. Other ones I want to start, Crave by Tracy Wolff. This is like a vampire romance type Twilight knockoff, but I think it sounds really fun, and it seems to actually get quite good reviews. So I think that'll be good to start. I think I'm actually maybe getting it for Christmas, the first one. I'm not sure on that. Then another series I want to start is Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. This is like a big, huge YA series from like the early 2000s, and I'd never heard of it until I started BookTube. It's kind of like Shadowhunters, and I know that they are making a Netflix show or movie that comes out next year at some point, so I'm going to buddy read this with some people, hopefully. We talked about it like a few months ago, and I don't know if it's still going to happen, but I would be quite interested in just trying it, just to see what I missed out on. And then finally, the Wayward Children series by Sean McGuire. I have all of these on my Kindle because Tor.com were giving them all away for free like last week, which is so cool. So I actually got all of the books. So I'm going to like binge read them all and probably do a video on them at some point. Because I think they'll be quite fast reads. They're all like novellas, so I think they're all like 200 pages. But those are like the big main series that I have in mind for next year. I have a few other ones like on my Kindle. I have like the first books of some series, but I'm not like that bothered about them. My Kindle books are kind of like backups, like for if I'm traveling at any point, which hopefully I will be, then I'll go into my Kindle books, but you know, they're not like the main focus for me. The next set of books are ones that are on my physical TBR, and I actually realised when I was like organising this video, my classics one, that the majority of my physical TBR is classics at this point. I actually don't have that many. Like, this is ones I'm about to show you is all of the physical TBR books that I have that are like not classics, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, the first one is Final Girls by Riley Sager. I tried to read this a few months ago, DNF'd after one chapter just because I wasn't in the mood. I say a few months ago, I'm pretty sure it was actually like January, but I want to give it another chance. So hopefully I'll get to that. Well, I know I definitely will. And then Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I was never that super interested in this, but I seen it in a charity shop for literally 20 pence. So I picked it up and I do definitely want to read it. I just don't know when. Hopefully soon. This next one I'm really not sure if I want to read, to be honest. It's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stig Larsson. Again, I got this from a charity shop for 20 pence at the same time as the last book. And I don't know, at the time I was kind of interested, but now I don't know, and it's quite big. So if like you have read this and you think it's really good and you think I'd enjoy it, then let me know, because I'm really not that sure if I want to bother with it, to be honest. Next, I have Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. I talked about this in my last video when I was talking about how much I love Ursula K. Le Guin, but I just really think this will be interesting. So hopefully I like it. My face is like so red right now. Oh my god. And then I have these sci-fi books, so which are like sci-fi masterworks. And I don't know anything about them, to be honest. My dad gave me most of them. I have Valis by Philip K. Dick. I have The Three Stigmata of Palma Eldritch by Philip K. Dick. I have Hard to Be a God by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky. And I have Dying of the Light by George R.R. Martin, who is obviously the author of Game of Thrones. So I don't know much about these, but I do want to read them because I do like sci-fi when I do read it. I just don't read it that often. So definitely want to try and read these. Okay, so as for books that aren't physically on my TBR right now, but I think a lot of these are on my Christmas list. I gave my mom, I can't remember, but I want to do a video or maybe 2 videos comparing different vampire books. So I have Interview with the Vampire, Vampire Academy, Vampire Diaries, and Dead Until Dark, which is the book that the True Blood series TV show was based on. So I've never read any of these. I've only ever really read Twilight and Dracula, but that doesn't count as like different kind of, you know what I mean? It's not YA. So I think these would be kind of fun to read them and compare them and make a video on. And then for other books, I swear some of these were also on my video I made this time last year that was like books I want to read in 2020, and I just never got to them. But Ninth House by Lee Bardugo, this has been on my TBR since like the day I joined BookTube. This has been on my TBR for so long, and I've never owned it, and I've never managed to get it from the library because the copy they had went missing. But I do very much want to read it, so 2021, Ninth House is happening. Severance by Ling Ma is another one. It's been on my TBR just as long. I think this is like a sci-fi, it's like about a pandemic type thing, I think. It's been on my TBR for so long that I've actually forgotten, but I do know that I do want to read it. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, again, has been on my TBR forever. It's a sci-fi. I love Brandon Sanderson. I want to read more of him. Even though I don't manage to start the Stormlight Archive next year, I do want to read more Brandon Sanderson because he was my favourite author of 2019, and then in 2020, all I really read by him was Elantris, I think. Like, that is it. So, I need more Brandon Sanderson in my life. One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. This is like, I know for a fact this is going to be one of those books that takes me like 1 day, 2 days to read. And I just never get to it. But my friend owns it, and I said to her I want to borrow it, and that was like 6 months ago. So, 2021, like all of these, it is happening, I swear to God. Next, Battle Royale by Kushin Takami, I think is how you say it. I love the Battle Royale movie, so I definitely want to read the novel, and I think it's translated, but I don't know, I like translated stuff, it's kind of cool. So I know for a fact, I remember this one is on my Christmas list, so I definitely will be reading it. After the Flood by Cassandra Montag. I don't remember much about this other than I'm pretty sure Therese from Bookish Therese, who is one of my friends on BookTube, she loved this book, if it's the one I'm thinking of, and the way she talked about it just made me like want to read it so badly. So again, like all of these, 2021. Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Timmy O. In the same vein, Monica from Mini Reads absolutely like raved about this book. She loved it and she was like begging people to pick it up, and I think it sounds really interesting. I know it's a sci-fi, can't really remember much else right now other than that, but she loved it, so I'm pretty sure I will also love it. My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I have been so interested in this ever since I heard about it. I love Lolita, and like, I know it's weird to say that, but I just love like the storyline. I think it's kind of dark and twisted, and I know that this is kind of in the similar vein, but it's from the girl's point of view. It's not like she's kidnapped or anything, but it's about like that topic, subject matter. So I definitely want to read this, although I've heard it's like a really difficult read, but I think it'll be really interesting and dark. And you know, Call Me by Your Name by Andrew Ackerman. I have never actually seen the movie for this, but I do want to see the movie, but I want to read the book first, so that's basically why this is here. The Deep by River Solomon. Everyone was talking about this when it came out. I keep constantly still to this day hear people talking about it. It's about mermaids that were born from the bodies of like black women who were thrown overboard on like slave ships, I'm pretty sure, and like the trauma, and it's really like heavy, but I think it sounds really interesting. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I have not read any Grady Hendrix books, but he is another one people always rave about. All of his books sound so interesting. Horror Store is like set out like an IKEA catalogue, and the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires has like so much like what do they say, like discussion on like the time period and stuff like that. I don't know, it just sounds really interesting. And again, it's about vampires, and I want to read more vampire books. So both of those are on my list. And then also he has one called My Best Friend's Exorcist, which I haven't got on this list, but if I read both of these and love it, then I definitely do want to try that as well. Like all of his books just sound like really unique and interesting. So those are all the books in my 2021 TBR for now. Obviously, this might not actually happen. I bet some of these I'll never get to. Even the ones I've been excited for like 2 years, they probably, like, some of them will slip through because it always happens. But I do really, honestly want to read almost all of these. There was a couple in a physical TBR, like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I'm like, I don't know. But obviously, let me know if you think I should read that, or what ones out of all of this list I should prioritise and stuff like that, just so I know it and have a general idea of what people are interested in and what I should be most excited for. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, and like I said, I will be doing another video about this, all about classics I want to read. So if you're into for classics, keep an eye out for that. And without any further ado, I will see you in my next video.